Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Guns and Radio podcast. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm doing gun fingers for everybody listening on Pandora.
Yes,
Because
if you're watching on Spotify, you're
recently,
doing the right thing.
we found out recently most of our audience is on Pandora and does not take advantage of the beautiful video production quality that we so tirelessly work hard to bring you each and every week. But that's okay. That's okay. We ain't bitching. We ain't bitching. We ain't bitching because Bailey's with us, and he's gonna we can't make a scene in front of Bailey, man. That'd be embarrassing.
They've done it before, but you know.
Gotta have some sense of reasoning here on the show.
That's true.
Might as well.
Well, we've got a lot to go over today. We're going to get right into it. Chris Brown is on the show from the band One Less Reason. I actually got to sit down and have a conversation with him in the middle of the week. There was a lot that went into that, and we'll talk about all that later on the show. But, you know, we had a great chat, great conversation, and we're going to play that for you now as we kick off our program of the day. So, what say you, Chris? Shall we hit it?
Hit that intro, and let's get right into this episode of Guns and Radio.
Listen, motherfuckers, to the show that you heard. Download on your smartphone the show that you deserve. Streaming fucking bullshit, you know that's what we are. Podcast for madness, isn't that absurd?
The Sounds of Summer continues here on the podcast. Dustin Bonez here, and today our guest that's joining us all the way from nearly Memphis, Tennessee. I almost fucked up and said Memphis. You know him from the band One Less Reason. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Brown. Let me give you the
Give me the applause. Come on. Thank you.
That's enough of that. Dude, welcome to the show, man. It's really good to see you again. I mean, it's been a while since I think we talked a minute before we started recording. I met you a long time ago at GTC.
Yeah.
I don't, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember what show it was. But
we played a lot of shows there. A lot of them there at Good Time Charlie's, and played.
What happened to that venue? Do you know?
I have no idea. Well, once we stopped touring full time, you know, I know most of the venues that we used to play aren't there anymore. I mean, a lot of rock venues just aren't. Even like the New Daisy, you know.
Yeah.
We used to play the New Daisy in Memphis, which was like a 1,500 seater.
Was that Roach's old place?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking.
There was nothing like that place though, because I grew up as a kid going to that and watching Saliva, and I remember seeing Nickelback open for Full Devil Jacket.
Oh wow!
And they were the curtain jerkers. I mean, they were like, you know, doors are at 7:15. Nickelback's on stage, right?
Oh wow!
And nobody cared. I mean, nobody cared.
That's Memphis, though, man. Memphis is a music city.
But Memphis is also a hater city in the fact that if you're their band, they love you. But if you are not their band, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They kind of,
yeah,
they're mean. I've seen them be mean. The poor guys from Marcy Playground, they were doing a show at, hell, I don't even remember what venue it was in. One of those venues is closed. But I think it was Mid-South Coliseum. It was like 98 Rock, whatever. And on the way in, everybody got a 98 Rock Frisbee.
Oh, no.
And these dumb fuckers played Sex and Candy like second. Right?
Oh, wow.
And then here come the fucking Frisbees. It looked like Star Wars. I mean,
no.
He's up there singing and Frisbees are bouncing off his fucking head. You know what I mean? It was.
Did they finish the set?
Memphis. No. Candlebox played it too. And somebody threw a knife at him while he was singing.
Oh, God.
Kevin's like the nicest dude ever, right? Like, I mean, if you don't like Kevin, you're you're an asshole. Because I remember being on stage at Rockfest in Kansas City, Kansas, and I'm up there and we're doing Break Me, you know, and you know, right now I'm doing these things, and I look to my right and I see Kevin Martin sitting there watching us play, right? And the dude, you know, after the show, he has every right to be a cocky dickhead, but he so isn't. He's just the nicest dude. He makes sure to go out of his way to talk to everybody and tell you what he thinks about your music and your set. And what a great guy. But they threw a knife at him at that show. It was a pocket knife, but I mean, nobody wants a knife thrown at them while they're singing.
No.
And he was like, "We're out. Fuck y'all."
Yeah. I mean, I would be too. Have you ever met a cocky dickhead doing this?
Oh God.
Because I'll bet it was somebody that had no right to be a cocky dickhead.
I tell you what, a lot of the times it's fucking local bands that are the biggest pricks.
That's kind of what I was.
Seems like the bigger the band, the nicer they. I remember we were in Wisconsin at some festival, and it was us, and on the bill was Korn and Stone Sour. I mean, just huge bands, right? And we were in catering, and Corey Taylor comes in. He's just like, "What's up, motherfuckers?" Just the nicest dude, you know. And it's just like, you know, it's usually the people who are the biggest are the nicest when it comes to, you know.
That's probably how they got to be the biggest too.
Maybe. I mean, but then you'll have an opening band or whatever that, you know, you'll be out doing your show and you'll have an opening band. They'll be like, "I'm not playing unless I can use my 64-piece drum kit." I'm like, bye.
You think you'll be missed?
Right. Yeah. Bye. See you later.
So I was looking at some stuff online here, and it says here that you've been the first time that you played on stage, you were 13 years old. Is that accurate? Where was that at?
New Bern, Tennessee, at the New Bern, Tennessee Country Club. We were opening for a band called Relic.
Okay.
And we were a metal band, and a Christian metal band at that.
Oh,
yeah, they went over. Christian metal's like popular now, but back then, it's a lot more. Oh, you kind of have a built-in crowd now. Like if you go to Cornerstone Festival, and like if you come out, I mean, Memphis, Tennessee has Ardent Records, you know, from Ardent Studios, and they literally made a living and made a business out of Christian rock. I mean, they gave us Skillet. Skillet was signed to Ardent for 5 records before they went to Atlantic.
I forget that about Skillet, but then yeah, you're right, because when you go see them, they preach a sermon about halfway through the set, the short one, but you know.
Right. I remember John Cooper from way before Skillet. He was in a band called Finger Paint, and he was also in a band called Seraph.
Oh.
And then Skillet just kind of came out of nowhere because it was a mixture of a band called Urgent Cry and Seraph mixed together.
Skillet's a really good band. I'll tell you, I saw them open for Guns N' Roses, though, in Texas one time. And that is not the crowd. I felt so bad. Like, he stopped to say his piece, you know, in the middle of the thing. And I'm not a very religious person, but I also don't consider myself a very blasphemous person either.
Right.
And some of the shit that people were screaming at this poor man in the middle of that set when he was talking, I never would have said, just on the off chance I'm wrong.
Yeah, you know, but then you have some bands, like I remember the first time I saw Tool, it was on the Anima tour, and he comes out and he's dressed like a TV evangelist, and he has this huge Bible, and it says the word on it, and he's got this big ass hairpiece, you know, and and he comes out to Memphis, and the first thing comes out this motherfucker's mouth is, "Welcome to the Church of Jesus fucking Christ. Give me a hallelujah." And the whole crowd said, "Hallelujah." "Give me an amen." The whole crowd says, "Amen." He said, "If you come to worship the Lord, let me hear ya." And, you know, they screamed. He said, "Well, you came to the wrong fucking place." And then they started playing Prison Sex.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I remember kind of wooing you and kind of like looking around going, is this, should we be doing this?
Oh yeah. So when you got started and you had, what made you decide to do a Christian band or a Christian metal band? Was it a church thing, and that's where you met your bandmates at?
I knew these guys. You gotta think I was 13. I mean, I wasn't even old. I was definitely not old enough to drive. So, and I met these guys through a friend named Brandon Smith, and they're still a band. They're called Lord Chain now, and they're from Missouri. But I met them through him because he was their bass player. And then whenever they kind of brought me in because I was a guitar player, I didn't sing. Hell, I didn't know I was even a singer, right? So they brought me in, and check out those curtains. Those are not my curtains, by the way. This is a vacation home.
I thought it was a hotel, so
curtains look awful. I can't listen to his music. Look at those curtains.
most people don't watch the video on this show anyway.
Okay, sweet.
We've
Fair
got
enough.
the stats. We know our audience. It'll be all right.
All right, so and then I got brought in as a guitar player because guitar playing was what I did. I mean, that's what I loved, right? Like I had never sang before in my life or anything. So, and then I joined the band at 13, and there's videos of my first practice on YouTube with them, right? And I look at it, it's like, Jesus, oh my God. I mean, little fat 13-year-old kid playing this music and this metal music, screaming and whatnot. And then the bass player quit, and then I went to bass, and I was there for, God, a few years. But it was cool because those guys were all like, the guitar player was, he was 30-ish. I'm 13, so I got to learn a lot. While people that were, I was friends with in school, they were playing with other 13, 15-year-olds, right? But I was getting mentored by 30-year-olds and people who played like 30-year-olds.
Oh wow!
And I was learning songwriting and the fundamentals of, because it was an original music act, so I was learning songwriting and whatnot, and I do credit a lot of my success in One Less Reason and the songwriting to the fundamentals that I learned from being in that band.
Did you guys ever play at churches?
Yeah.
Okay, because this is what I'm seeing in my mind. Okay, I was a church kid growing up,
Right.
and we would have other bands come in from time to time. And I'm seeing like this little Southern Baptist church. Nobody's used to any kind of music that Bill Gaither doesn't play.
Yeah.
And you guys come in and start rocking, I'm sure. And
Right.
you get that particular, that old lady face, the one across the whole audience.
Yeah. Let me give you a little story. I remember being on stage at like this outside church festival thing, right? And we start cutting into our thing, because none of us could sing at that point. We were just growling and screaming, which is kind of the cool thing now, but it was not. It was frowned upon back in the day. I'll put it that way. And I guess we woke up the local homeless drunk guy because he proceeded to walk up to the stage and yank the microphones off of the stage and tell us in no uncertain terms to shut the fuck up.
In the church?
Yeah, at a church. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, that's you weren't far off. Your mind's eyes dialed in for sure.
I'm thinking of a couple of specific times, and I was the kid that was being forced to be there. So, like, when stuff like that would happen, it would just make me giddy. I would be so happy looking around the audience at that crowd.
Bro, but the thing about it is now you have a built-in crowd for it because Christian music has its own fan base. And
it doesn't suck anymore.
Oh, that's debatable.
Like, there was a time where when you think of Christian things, production values and stuff like that are so low, and almost Christian stuff and porn have about the same production qualities when I think of, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, I'm really not, but like when you think of like a movie, the camera work and the acting.
Right.
And
But then you got breakout bands like Skillet and Disciple. I mean, Disciple was my Daddy Can Whip Your Daddy. I mean, they were heavy Christian influence, when they started.
And Jars of Clay was good. What I remember of it.
I wrote a couple songs with the guitar player for Jars of Clay.
Oh, that's cool. Well, did you guys? Did you ever release anything with them?
It was actually one of the songs was on my first. I sing. I have another band called Giuseppe Moses and the Vegetarians, and that first record has one of the songs that I wrote with him.
I was wondering. I was going to ask about that. What is Giuseppe Moses? Or I was going to say, who is Giuseppe Moses?
It's funny. Giuseppe Moses came. I was looking for a name for my band. I was signed to a label at the time, and I did not want to put out another record under a record label, right? And I remember thinking, because they had first right of refusal. When you sign a contract and you do a record outside of the band that they signed, they have a thing in the contract called a first right of refusal, which means they get a chance to put it out before telling you they don't want to put it out. They get the chance to put it out if they want to before you can release an independent with somebody else. And I remember thinking, what is a name that I could put on this thing where they will not want to touch this thing at all, right? And Giuseppe Moses is what my parents were hippies. And my parents wanted to name me Giuseppe Moses Brown.
Oh.
So, yeah. And my grandmother she went, bullshit. No, you're not. Right. So, and then we just added, and the Vegetarians to it. So the Vegetarians thing definitely got us out of the whole record label ordeal.
That was an ordeal because you signed with Universal. And that's where you got the hit that I'm familiar with, or the way I discovered you was through Favorite Color, which I think most people probably, at least from Tupelo, did. And so to jump ahead a little bit, you guys signed with Universal, but you didn't stick around very long. What happened with that?
We signed to Universal, and they put Favorite Color out. And Favorite Color, they weren't expecting it to do much, right? And it became the most added rock song at rock radio for about 3 months straight. And we knew it was a hit when we went to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we were headlining a show called Festival on the Grand. And we didn't get to see the crowd or anything, right? We just walk out, and there's 18,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Like, okay, Favorite Color is definitely working. And then we talked to Universal. They told us, they said, we spent the whole rock budget on the band Flawed. So either you're going to have to wait until next year to get a new budget, or we'll let you out of your contract and you don't owe us anything and you can have your masters. And said, I'll take that.
Sounds like a fair deal.
Yeah. I mean, and everybody's like, oh my God, what are you going to do? Even my band was like, we got to keep the record label. I'm quitting if we drop the record label. And I was like, bye. Right. And
like, I mean, today it don't matter as much. Today it don't matter as much, but back then, I'd have been pissed.
Right.
I mean, like, what are you thinking? But you guys actually you've had way more success just on self-release stuff and using the internet for promotion and stuff like that. But a lot of people weren't doing that.
Our Faces of 4-letter words debuted #1 Billboard Heat Seeker. I mean, above like Neon Trees, started with a whisper. That was when I kissed her. That record, we debuted higher than that, and then every record label in the United States started calling because we were #1 for 2 weeks straight on Billboard sales charts.
What made you decide that you were not going to do another record deal, that you were just like, fuck that?
Because they offered me what the deal was. And I went, that'll make me poor.
Well,
that'll make me, I mean, I went and did the voice tryouts thing, and I made it past the first rounds or whatever. And then I saw the contract, and the contract says we own every song you've ever put out from here on out. We own your voice. We own your likeness. We own your name. I mean, I was like, no. No.
Yeah,
I worked way too hard to hand that all over. It said it all becomes property of NBC producers.
Oh wow.
And I was like, nope.
How do they still get people to sign that in this day and age though? Because
It's people who have nothing going on. If you have nothing going on, I mean, that's
got nothing to lose.
kind of like signing a record deal. But if you already have a back catalog and a hit song with Universal, I mean, hit song, whatever, that people knew, that's one thing. But you would literally have to sign over every single thing that I had ever done to NBC. So,
no, I'd say favorite color. You had a hit. Because I'm going to tell you, man, back in the day when you make mixtapes to try to get laid, that song was on every one I put in there. Like,
the fucked up thing about how that song came about, I was trying to learn how to play Name by Goo Goo Dolls, right? And Goo Goo Dolls' song Name has this fucking weird ass tuning, right? And it's C G C G C C, right? So I tuned it to that, and just out of nowhere, I did that ding, 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 that opening note, and I went, ooh, that kind of hits me in the right spot. And 15 minutes later, I had Favorite Color written. First time we ever played Favorite Color live was at CBGB's.
Oh wow!
In New York City. Yep.
Oh man. So what about that? So when you're writing Favorite Color, there's obviously a specific thing that you're talking about. There's a specific story that's got to be going on here. Is that something you want to talk about, or is that something we should leave to the listener?
I do like the Universal side of it, that not the Universal record label side of it, but just the Universal side of it, that people take it and make it whatever it is they want it to be. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people are going to be disappointed when they find out was the fact that I had a girlfriend. The person who I wrote it about had a boyfriend and two parents who were evangelists. And there were going to be a lot of people who are going to be disappointed when they found out that she was slumming with me.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It does fit well into a lot of things. I know I had a friend of mine at the time, and that was his favorite song. He's no longer with us, but he was a homosexual man, and that was his anthem. And
I mean, and that's why that's why I was saying, I like the Universal side of it, because a lot of people are going to be disappointed when they find out. Is very you can apply that to whatever it is you're going through in life,
What does the lyric 311 again mean?
March 11th.
Okay, so it's a date?
Yep.
Okay.
That's why it shows up on other records. I mean, it shows up again in in a few. It shows up again in a few 311 on a Monday afternoon on the song Your Beautiful Ending from the A Lifetime Burning record.
So is that one kind of the conclusion to the story in your head?
No. Well, it was just 311. March 11th is just a date that a lot of weird shit always happened to me, right? And I still see that number a lot. But 311 was actually the date that one of my grandparents died. So,
oh wow,
as well. I mean, so that, and that's what Your Beautiful Ending is about. It's about my grandfather dying, and then also talking about my grandmother dying, 1983 on a Tuesday afternoon. Because I remember being picked up from the babysitter. And my mother telling me my grandmother had passed away, and I was so young, I had no idea what the hell that meant.
Yeah. Like she's coming back eventually, and then they tell you, you'll see her again one day and stuff like that.
That's kind of that's and I remember that vividly. I really do remember that day like it was yesterday. And I remember seeing my mother cry, and going, "What in the hell's wrong with you?" I had no idea.
So when you're writing these kind of songs, like a lot of the songs, at least the ones that I've got the pleasure of listening to from your albums, have a very deep and a very heavy emotion to them.
Right.
You're from the South-ish area, especially where that's not a thing that dudes get to do.
Right.
And so when you're getting started and everything in your writing, is there like a brick wall where you have to like kind of power your way through it, at least at first, to get this onto paper, to because of, you know what I'm saying, because it's not a macho thing, it's not a, it's not a posturing thing like we're supposed to be doing. So is
Right.
there some kind of like mental kind of brick wall you have to power through
I've had
to
4 records that I believe saved my life. Okay. And lyrically, those records were just honest, and they said what I needed to hear at the time. Right. So when I started writing songs, I remember saying, if I can just write a song that helps somebody out 10% as much as, say, Matchbox 20's Yourself or Someone Like You, then I'll consider this whole endeavor a success. Whether there's any money in it or any kind of accolades of any kind, as long as I can write if I write one song that helps somebody or one lyric that helps somebody, then I'll feel like I've paid it forward, right? So that's what I was trying to be honest. I was trying to be honest when I wrote songs, and it was always the things that I felt like I didn't want anybody to see, that always hit the hardest. Like my song Uneasy. Uneasy is just one of those songs that I don't play it live because it makes me cry. And then I don't play it live also because when I try to sing it, somebody in the crowd is usually crying, which makes me cry. So
I was going to ask about that song in particular because there's a lot of emotion inside of it. And
that song was a weird song because, man, we were going through all these things, and I was expecting my first child. It was 2011, I think, and I remember I'd been awake for about 36 hours straight. And this story is weird as shit. I've been awake about 36 hours straight, and I remember telling my now wife, my girlfriend at the time, I'm going to bed. I need to sleep. And so I went to bed, and it was like 7:00, right? And I went to bed, and I had this dream that I was living in this house that I grew up in Kennett, Missouri, and somebody knocked on the door. And when I opened the door, it was a UPS driver. And he had a cell phone in his hand. He said, "It's for you." And I took the phone and I put it to my ear. And the grandmother that Your Beautiful Ending's about, on the other end of that phone, who's been gone since 1983, I knew it was her voice as soon as I heard it. She said, "Hey, honey, I hear you've been having a hard time. And I want you to know that there's a heaven for all of us, even the ones that sell their souls." And I woke up screaming, like, just, it freaked me the fuck out.
oh wow, that is wild.
I picked up my guitar, and 15 minutes later I had Uneasy.
So do you think that is some kind of, do you believe that there's some kind of message that's coming through from the other side when stuff like that happens?
I think that song was ordained by God. I don't think I had anything to do with it, if you want to know the truth about it. I think this song was ordained by God because of the messages that I've gotten, that people say. I mean, man, just like last week, I had a woman send me a message that her husband had killed himself, and she's like, the only thing keeping me from doing it right now is Uneasy. And
oh wow.
anything that I did or anything that I do that makes that, that wasn't me. I'm not, to have an ego, I could say, oh yeah, man, I write these songs that fucking save people or whatever. But no, that was ordained more so. That was handed to me from somewhere for all the people that have sent the messages. It had nothing. I was nothing more than a medium. I was the vehicle to deliver it. I was a vehicle to deliver it and have it there in the time that somebody who was going to need it in the future found it.
And that's been your biggest hit, right?
Uneasy's been my biggest song, but well, just recently, All That's Best in You just passed up. I think Uneasy. I think it passed up all of my songs in digital downloads. And
Which
that was just me
is
and acoustic guitar.
that's been at least a billion. Am
It's
I
a
right?
lot. It's a lot. It's a whole bunch.
That's insane.
I don't keep up with any of this stuff, man, because I just don't. That stuff's all sucking your own dick, man. That's all it is. It don't matter. Music is meant to be a fun thing when you want to have fun. It's meant to save you when you're lost. It's meant to help you up when you're down. Meant to knock you off your pedestal when you're being a cocksucker. Music comes in all vehicles, and oh yeah, I got 10 million kabillion views or whatever streams of A Day to Be Alone. Who cares? Who gives a shit? I know this. The people that are on the other end, if they get something out of it, then totally worth doing. It was totally worth it. Because now I'll go back and listen to those songs, man, and it's like listening to a different human. I mean, now I'm a dad and I have 2 kids, and I'm married with 2 kids and got a great life, and I don't have to worry about things. I don't have to worry about silly things like money or none of that thing, and I'm just blessed, and I don't know. I don't know the best way to say this is. It's just like, it's almost like listening to a different person. It was who I needed to, it's who I was at that time. But now sometimes it's like listening to a stranger. And that's why a lot of times I don't take credit for this anymore.
So let me ask you this thing, because you kind of answered this question when you talked about Uneasy, but because it sounds like that's one song that you can't release the emotion to be able to perform it when you're live and everything. When you're writing a song and you're pouring that emotion into it, what do you typically do to be able to release that so that you can go to work and put it out and perform it? And or is it once it's out there, it's done?
It's not mine. It's not mine anymore once it's out there. Uneasy. The vocal performance on Uneasy is the demo vocal that I recorded that night. Because I recorded it at my house. That was the vocal that I recorded that night that I woke up petrified from a dream.
That makes a lot of sense, because it's very powerful.
I couldn't redo it. I tried to re-record it, right? I tried a bunch of times to re-record it and get that feel to it, but it just that's what it was. It was that, and there was no replicating it.
No, it does. You can definitely tell when you listen to it. That's part of why I made a special note that I wanted to talk about that, because you can definitely hear it in there. Coming from a guy that, I hadn't really heard it all that much until I was doing research here. I didn't realize how deep your catalog was, to be honest with you. And then a couple of weeks ago when we booked this, I just started rabbit holing and diving in. And I'm honestly glad that it is, because I've always wondered whatever happened to One Less Reason, especially after I left the South.
Right. Well, I mean, like, and the thing about it is, I had a version of that song where I did the high parts. There was no woman on it at all, no female voice. Because my range is pretty high. If you go back and listen, like If You Want Me and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had recorded the high parts to it, and I was in the studio and I was trying to fucking, I was like, man, it's just so raspy. Like, my voice is so scratchy and raspy. And my guitar player, my former guitar player, he wasn't even a guitar player at the time, Jeremy Jones, came to the studio and he brought Blair Simpson with him, the girl from the video. And he was like, let Blair sing it. And she one-taked it, and that's what you hear on there. Is
Oh, wow.
her 2 one-take vocals put together, and we just went one line at a time. I mean, I would go, I just can't live like this no more. Record, she'd go, I just can't live like this no more, right? And then we'd do the next line, and that's the way it came together.
So in that one, are you playing the piano that's in that song?
I played everything.
Okay. Okay. So what did you pick up first? Was it guitar or piano?
I'm not a piano player now. Here's some crazy shit. I had never sat at a piano before in my life. The first time I sat at a piano, I wrote A Day to Be Alone.
Oh, wow.
The very first time. And I wrote it out of absolute necessity. I was too broke to buy my girlfriend at the time a birthday present. And so I sat down and I wrote a song for her and I recorded it. And there's the demo, the recording I made for her is out there somewhere. Because I remember at the end of it, I go, God, my nose itches or something like that, right? So it's like it's on YouTube and whatnot. But yeah, the first time I sat at a piano, I wrote A Day to Be Alone. The second time I sat at a piano, I wrote what song was that? Shit, it was on a Lifetime Burning. Life in a Way.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was about my dad.
Well, your dad was always real supportive of you. Didn't he come to like every show that you?
He was our merch girl for a long time. Yeah. I mean, and it got correct because my dad was a wild man, right? And he would go with all the fans and whatnot and get drunk after the show because, I don't drink or do drugs or anything like that. So everybody thought I was vanilla. But it got to the point where we'd get to a venue, people go, well, they would be going, where's Cris at? They'd be like, where's Chris's dad? And they would get him everybody called him Pops. And they would get him so drunk, he would start speaking what we called Popsanese, which was a mixture of Southern slang and Vietnamese. Couldn't understand the fucking thing he was saying. And, but yeah, man, we put him at the merch table because he'd make a ton of friends. I mean, he never met a stranger. So, it always it always worked out. Because he came to everything. Even back when I was 13, he was the guy who would drive me to the shows.
So when you were a kid and everything, and you was like, Dad, I want to play guitar. Did he help you find a guitar or get you one? Or
well, at first he was kind of like, you ain't gonna stick to that shit, right? And I did get a guitar, and I didn't stick to it for a few years. I think from the time I was like 7 to 9. And then I got a distortion pedal.
Changed it.
Yeah. I went from having a clean amp and a guitar to a distortion pedal, and I learned Bad to the Bone by what the fuck
George Thorogood.
George Thorogood, yeah. And after that, I was always the weird kid who wanted to sit at home, and we had this pawn shop called Ken's Music, and he rented these like learn the guitar method of Randy Rhoads, right? So you would rent these things, and you'd rent them for 5 days at a time. And I would rent these things and just sit there and just try to take it all in. Because I was into shredding. I was into all these crazy bands like Mortification and Tourniquet. And people hear that now, and they're like, well, how the fuck did you end up writing cock rock? I don't know.
Well,
no idea.
I heard you say in another interview at one point that Matchbox 20 was the difference maker. That kind of changed you. And I felt like that's odd because I'm actually going to see them in about 3 days. So maybe that's the rock and roll gods coming down to.
Right. When we recorded If You Want Me, Kyle Cook was there hanging out while we were recording that. And I remember him going, he said something, we were doing like that man and down and the lead part, if you want me part, and he goes, that sounds like something we do or something like that in my band. I was like, who the fuck's your band? Right?
Oh wow.
He was like, playing a band called, like totally like I was just and Justin Thomas, the guy who produced that stuff, we called him Ass Pony. I don't know why we called him Ass Pony, but he was like, dude, he's fucking with you. He's like y'all's biggest fucking fan. He had no ego, and he was just like, I try not to imply that people know who I am, So yeah, it was fun.
Oh man, that's hilarious, man. What about their sound kind of shifted you away from the kind of screaming metal and into what I like to call listen toable music?
Okay, well, I was 18 years old, and I was working at a place called Trinity Marine in Caruthersville, Missouri. And I had this fucking cassette tape Walkman thing. And I remember I had Psychosurgery recorded onto a cassette, and I would take it with me to work, and I'd listen to it all day long because that's what I was into at the time, right? Have you ever
On
heard
the
that?
one, I've not, but I know the feeling because you get like maximum like 9 songs on a
Right.
tape, and that's both sides.
So I was used to like Psychosurgery, divine mental biopsy reveals you need psychosurgery, right? And that's kind of what I was expecting. And not to my chagrin, I went to work and my brother had recorded Yourself or Someone Like You on the record, on the tape. And I went,
So he was like, fuck your shitty metal band.
yeah, right. And I was like, son of a bitch, this is going to be the longest day ever. I got to listen to this garbage, right? And so I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a try. I turned it on. It's sitting by the overcoat, the second shelf, the note she wrote that I can't bring myself to throw away, right? And I went, what the fuck he just say? And then it got to the end. It's been a long day, always ain't that right? And I went, wow, that motherfucker's really saying something, right? He's really saying something. And I got all the way to Hang, She grabs a magazine, she packs her things, and she goes, And fuck, I was like, Jesus Christ, that might be the best record I've ever heard in my life once I gave it a chance. And I just found so much of what my life was in that record. And that's what, I read interviews where he was like, you might not like this record, but someone will, because this record is about you or someone like you,
Okay.
And he was right. He was really right, because I found that's kind of where I started going, okay, I can take 3 chords and make a great song as long as the words make sense, right? And it took a long time to figure that out, because I wasn't a singer. How I became a singer, we had a band, we had a singer, we were called Lapdog. The singer just wouldn't show up for practice, and one day the bass player looks at me and goes, fuck it, dude, you sing. I'm like, fuck, I don't know nothing about singing. And I gave it a try, and hey, man, it kind of worked.
Yeah, and you wouldn't never know, because is that how you discovered that you even had the ability?
Yeah. Well, in the car, I had sang before, I could sing that Matchbox record backwards, frontwards, forwards, upside down, probably in 10 different languages. But
yeah, but that's different than performance singing, like
right. And like all the singing I'd done before, I've been really into these fucking metal bands, and I always liked that really high, screechy. My favorite singer at the time, back then was a guy named Dale Thompson. And he sang for a band called Bride. And that dude could fucking put the pedal to the metal when it came to that, that screechy high shit. And that's what I was into. And then when I found that Matchbox record, it was kind of like, I don't have to do that. All I got to do is be honest with what I'm saying. And it'll land where it's supposed to.
So you kind of found your happy middle there, because it's. I would say what I've heard isn't necessarily. It's definitely not like, but it's got a little bit of those elements into it.
Yeah, if you listen to like the Members Uninvited record, if you listen to Break Me and whatnot, there's a lot of screaming on that record. I did more screaming on that record than any other record I've ever done, which is fun to do. But everything that when it says something like, I know that you're not good for me right now, and break me. That's not something that you can just say, I know that you're not good for me right now. That's not something you can say like that. You got to get your point across. But up to that record, I didn't find it necessary. Because we went from being a Matchbox 20 style band to a very fucking heavy new core metal band. And then the YouTuber Rick Beato?
I think I've heard of him. I'm not getting a face off the top of my head.
He's like one of the biggest YouTubers on the planet, right? But Rick Beato produced the songs that actually got us our Universal deal. And I remember going in to work with him, right? And I had written these songs. Like Worthless, and I had written Snow Angel's Favorite Color, whatnot. And so we go to Atlanta. We're going to be recording with Rick at Tree Studios. I guess this is 2005-ish, 2004 probably. And we're in this practice room. It's called pre-production, where he kind of picks your songs apart and puts them back together. And this guy, Rick's they call him Dick Beato because he says exactly what he means, right? He will not. Let me put it this way. He told my drummer at one point that he said, your drumming sounds like shoes in a dryer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're in this room, and I'm doing like these songs, I'm kind of warming up and whatnot and playing clean, and the drummer setting up his drums, and I'm doing pieces of like Worthless or whatnot. So that's what he's expecting. Okay. And then he's like, okay, show me what you got. And we kick in, start puking. He goes, stop. What the fuck is that garbage, right? He goes, what the fuck? He said, wait, I've heard you sing. Why are you not singing? I went, I don't know. He said, Cris, and I'll never forget this. I will never forget this. He said, Cris, do you like money? I said, yeah, I've never had any of it, but I think so. He said, do you like pussy? I said, yeah. He said, you'll have both of them if you just fucking listen to me. He said, now show me what you were warming up with. And that's where Favorite Color came from.
Oh, wow.
We weren't even going to record Favorite Color.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
We went in there as Lapdog and came out as One Less Reason.
Oh, that's wild.
Yep.
So there's two versions of Favorite Color that I've heard. Uh-huh. When did you re-record it? Because it kind of threw me off the first time I was looking for it, and I heard a different version. But it was cool. It was good, but it was just, you get used.
There's three versions. There's the version we did with Rick that first time. Actually, there's four versions. There's the demo version we did in Haytown, Missouri, with a guy named Dennis Gurley. And you always know that was the version. It's that version because the second verse, for some fucking idiotic reason, I sang the second verse, on the now version, it's 311 again. No, I'm not your best friend, right? In the second verse on that one, it's 311 again, and it's like this low version, right? And then we recorded it with Rick, and then we recorded it again with Universal with Greg Archilla, who did the Matchbox 20 record.
And that's the one that I think most people were familiar. That's the one they played on the radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we did it again when we were signed to Arsenic Records, which we did with Chris Henderson from Three Doors Down and Kevin Churko from the Five Finger Death Punch fame.
Okay. So was there like a need to re-record it for like legal purposes, like versus just re-release?
Fuck, I don't know. I don't know.
Just wanted to?
No, I didn't want to.
Oh.
Man, you surround yourself with managers and all these people in the business who think they know what's best for you, and you just fucking kind of nod your head and agree. Mm-hmm. And then somewhere along the way, I decided not to nod my head and agree anymore, and they said that I was a fatalist because I was the most disagreeable person on the planet. But I mean, it got recorded that many times because of, office
good
workers
song.
pretty much.
I mean,
It's a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you dropped the labels, why did you specifically at that time say, I'm never signing another one again?
Well, that kind of happened from, Favorite Color was number 1 on the most added charts for how long it was.
Mm-hmm.
And my band dumped me. And then I had all these people going, hey, man, why don't you just go get a day job? And that one less reason thing's over. And then I was like, okay, tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go record. 5 more songs. I'm going to record 5 more songs, and I'm going to put out a record. And if it does well, then I know this thing isn't dead. And if it doesn't do well, then I know that they were right.
You tried.
So we go to Orlando. We record Really Bad Analogy. I don't even remember what our songs we recorded. Whatever's on that record, other than, we go record these with Justin Thomas. And we come back, and I get onelessreason.com, and I put it up on this local server in Jackson, Tennessee. And I have the site built, and we launch it, and literally we had 280,000 hits on the first day.
Oh, wow.
Right? 280,000 hits on the first day, and the server says, you're crashing our servers. Find somebody else. Get this shit the fuck off our server, right? So I went, okay, so there is interest here. Put the record out. I think we had like 4,000 copies. Sold out all those immediately.
Oh, wow.
We used to have these things called mailing parties at my house. And me, and then like my wife now, which I met her back then, that she'd come over, and then like 5 or 6 friends, we would have mailing parties, and we would literally just sit there and mail CDs. And we would put them in these 40-gallon bags and take them to the post office, right? So just 40-gallon bags of these bubble mailers with CDs in them. And the postal service was like, you got to figure something else out, because we can't shut down our post office every time you're gonna do a, and I was driving this green Ford Ranger, and I would just fill up the whole back of it. It looked like I was just carrying trash around, but all these trash bags were full of CDs, right? And and I knew at that point that there's still a lot of life left in this, and I was glad to get rid of everybody, because they never wrote anything anyway. I wrote it all. Brian Kirk, the guitar player, he wrote the lead line to Favorite Color. But other than that, these were songs that I had written, on my own.
And so you've since you've continued, do you continue to write everything on your own?
Yeah. Of course.
So One Less Reason is basically a one-man band. Well, I guess that's why. I mean, it would be too confusing if you just called it Chris Brown. So,
well,
I don't. You might sell more records.
I thought about doing that just to fucking cause confusion and sell some fucking records. They're expecting the dancing guy, and then there's this fucking fat bald guy shows up singing, singing all these fucking rock songs.
Well, that's how Soulja Boy did it at first. Did you know that?
I had nope.
The way Soulja Boy got famous is I don't remember what song he labeled it as, but Soulja Boy up in that hoe, he wrote it, he recorded that, and then he put it up on LimeWire, and probably a bunch of different names, and he named them, because back then, downloading a song would take like 3 hours.
Right.
So, and by the time they got it downloaded, now they're stuck with it, and it was free, and you bootlegged it anyway. So who are you going to run to? and yeah, enough people liked it that the rest is history.
Yeah, good for him. But yeah, I've actually thought about, my next record, my next solo record, not being Giuseppe Moses, just calling it Chris Brown. But
I think today you could probably easily do that.
Yeah, because I got a song called California, which is about opiates, and It's about opiates and the fentanyl crisis. It's called California C'est La Vie, and I think that it's going to do really well, but it just doesn't really fit the One Less Reason format at all. And I'm getting older, man. It fucking takes it out of an old man to stand up there on these fucking stages. I don't see how people like fucking this dude from Papa Roach and all these fuckers. These dudes are all 50, man, and they're still up there fucking rocking out for 2 fucking hours. It's like, I don't know how you're doing it.
Well, times have certainly changed because there was a time where you were touring with the band Hinder.
Yeah.
And you got back.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard this story on another podcast, so I'm not going to make you tell the whole thing. But you get back, and your record label's like, no, you get your ass over here now.
Yeah, over to Nashville, right? Yeah.
How far away was that?
Oh, that was 3 hours.
So you had to, like, you just got home, and then you had to drive like 3 hours back to the office to get yelled at.
We had just gotten back from Sacramento, California.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so, like, you're talking about 4-day drive. And they were like, get your ass here now. And I go in that office. They go, let me tell you something, motherfuckers. I want you to hear me good. I know, fuck. Right? And they were like, Hinder said they're about to throw you guys off the tour because you guys are too much to handle. He said, I'm going to repeat that. Hinder's about to throw you guys off the tour because you're too much to handle. And
Hinder was known for getting fucked up and getting crazy.
Right. Yeah. You know, and it just was what it was. I mean,
what did you do? Like, were you just getting drunk and like...
It was not me, but man, when you got guys that are 25 years old and unencumbered and free,
bored on the road
with 5,000 women at a show with endless alcohol. I mean, hey.
Yeah, because people buy you shots constantly.
We got to this show. And Hinder was they were endorsed by Jägermeister, right? But on their rider, they put on there that or whatever happened, I don't really know, but somehow we ended up with 4 liters of Jaeger.
Oh God. Jaeger drunk is not the same.
Yeah. Let me put it this way. We ended up with a girl that we thought was dead because I remember my guitar tech, his name was Debo, coming to me and going, I think she's dead, Chris.
What happened there? Because I've heard pieces of that story, but I've never heard the whole story.
No.
Oh, we're not going to talk about it?
Well, let me put it this way. If this was 5 years ago, before everybody got so fucking had stick up their ass so much, oh, we're going to cancel that band, I don't ever want to listen to them again, I would definitely tell it to you in full detail. And I might tell it to you in full detail, just not on this recording.
Oh, okay. That's fine. After the show.
Yeah. But I'll never forget, I was side stage, and it was us, and I think I was talking to Jason Null from Saving Abel, and I'll never forget my guitar tech, his name was Debo, came to the side stage and said, Chris, we need you. Oh, what the fuck is the problem? And my brother, he can make any situation worse because he is the worst case scenario guy. And Debo goes, Chris, there was this girl in the van, I think she's dead. And then my brother's behind it going, man, that bitch fucking dead, man. She ain't breathing, man. She fucking dead, Debo.
Oh no.
And then so I go over there and I'm like, get her out of our van, right? Get her out of the fucking van, first of all. Mm-hmm. And they get her out of the van. And I remember the manager for Hinder comes over and he looks and he goes, what the fuck is wrong with her? I was like, dude, that's guy here. I'm trying to figure it out.
Oh, wait, so you guys are weekend at Bernie's and Bernie's this chick with this chick.
No. My guitar tech has her by the legs. And then I think my guitar player has her by the arms, right? And they're carrying her, and she's, and The manager goes,
And of
I don't
all
care what-
times,
he goes, I don't care what you do with her. Get her the fuck away from our tour bus. He said, throw her.
no.
His exact words were, throw her in the ocean, throw her in a dumpster, take her to the parking lot, whatever you got to do with her. Get that shit the fuck away from us. And I told him, I was like, guys, make sure she's not dead, but take her and put her somewhere and find her friend, because she had a friend with her. Find her friend. And yeah, come to find out she didn't die.
Oh, that's good.
Because the guitar tech told me that when we were in the office.
It'll make you feel better.
Yeah, he told us that while we were in the office, and then I remember our sound guy, this guy we called Cuddy, he got thrown off the tour too, just because he got so shit faced that he said some shit that he didn't mean it the way it was taken.
Oh no!
And there's a lot of big egos there that they weren't ready to hear what he had to say.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I can't remember the last time I listened to Hinder, but like the handful of OLR songs I got never went away. So, I mean,
and here's the thing, man. The guys in the band Hinder were great, man. Austin was just kind of a recluse.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of looked at everybody like they were beneath him. I mean, he might be the nicest guy on the planet. I don't know. I mean, I didn't seek him out in any way whatsoever, right? But I remember the comment that he made. The comment that was made by our sound guy Cuddy was, I saw the photograph because somebody snapped a photograph as he was saying it, right? And I know him and Austin are friends now, so it's all water under the bridge.
Yeah.
But there's 200 people out there trying to get an autograph and whatnot. And he's standing next to Austin. He puts his arm around him. His exact words were, he was trying to compliment him, but this is the worst compliment ever.
Oh, God.
I don't care what these fucking all these people say about you. You're not a fucking douche.
Oh, no.
That's what he said. And if somebody snapped a photo as he said it, and if looks could kill, that motherfucker would have been dead. He would have been dead as that girl in the parking lot.
Oh, no. Yeah, which she's not dead.
No, she's not dead. She's not dead.
Yeah, and I know what you mean, too, because, I mean, I've got 1,000 puppy dogs that are happily living on a farm right now as we speak with a family, and they're happy. And and I think she's on one of those farms, actually, now that you mentioned.
Yeah, she's frolicking. She's frolicking.
Oh, no. Hinder was the first band I ever saw that was not at church. That was
oh God.
I give them shit. I give them shit now, but honestly, like that concert, which they weren't even the headliner. That concert is what turned me into the music junkie I am today. So,
they were a great live band. I will not say anything bad about their live performances. I like their songs too. I mean, I thought American Nightmare was a fantastic record.
Yeah.
That "What You Gonna Do When the Whiskey Runs Dry" song. I mean, that's a country song. Like, man, you guys should have sold this shit to a George Strait or somebody.
Yeah, you could have been eating a lot better.
That song was fucking fantastic.
I know that the songs that they played on the radio, I didn't really care for. Like "Lips of an Angel" was great the first like 300,000 times I heard it on the radio.
Right. Yeah.
But the album songs, there's one in particular. It might be good again now. I haven't listened to it in years. I just remember getting so burned out on it that I remember we used to have DJs, Drum and Burks. And Drum and Burks, I loved Drum and Burks. That was like my favorite. I was a radio head because my dad was very Christian. So we had satellite TV, but every channel was locked out except for the Jesus channel. So I wasn't watching that. So I was a radio head, and Drum and Burks was my favorite show. And I think it was Lips of an Angel had just finished playing, and they come on the radio, and I was making my mixtape, and I left it in the tape because it made me laugh so hard. But I think it was Drum comes and goes, "Lips of an Angel" by Hinder, a song I wish would go away. and,
Yeah.
but how
we-
long is the one I liked? That's the one I'm trying to think of. How long till this
There
goes
was
away?
great songs on that record. I thought they had great songs after, but I think Lips of an Angel kind of had the Nickelback thing where you get so big and you played so much that no matter how great songs you put out after, like, I don't understand. Me and my wife were talking about this. Why the fuck do you hate Nickelback? Those motherfuckers are bangers, man. I mean, they write some fucking bangers.
Well, I think a lot of it is you've been told by, like, if you're going to be cool on the internet, yeah, you have to hate Nickelback, and you have, like, every time Slash and Miles Kennedy put out a new album, everybody in the GNR world shits all over it.
Yeah.
And I've never understood why until I was like, you know what, they're just trying to be cool on the internet because these are great songs.
Right. You
So,
know, it was just oversaturation, you know. And then Nickelback handled it great because they were on like Funny or Die on HBO, where they kept talking about opening for themselves because who better to open for Nickelback than Nickelback. And dude, the way they handled it was fucking awesome. That band there, I still think is
the band I went to see that night that I saw Hinder for, and that was Nickelback. They were the headliner.
There you go.
That was the, oh God, I'm probably ashamed to admit how long it took me. Oh, All the Right Reasons. That was what they were touring.
Wow.
At the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
With Chevelle.
I wasn't a big fan of the Leader of Men record for Nickelback, which is what I saw them on to begin with. And like I said, they were the curtain jerkers. But man, when Silver Side Up came out, and then they just kept going because they did Silver Side Up, and then they did whatever the next record was. But then my favorite record is All the Wrong Reasons, or All the Right Reasons, whatever it's called. Whatever starts off with Follow You Home, that record.
That's it.
That drum feel.
Yeah, I'm the same way because I didn't like Silver Side Up, and I don't think I gave the other one a chance because I didn't like How You Remind Me, and that was what I was also, that's what they played on the radio, so that's what we were broke, okay? I was not buying music. Like, I didn't buy my first album until I was at least 18 because I knew if I did take my hard-earned money and buy it, and my dad found it, he'd break it anyway. So it took a long time for me to go buy my first album, and I couldn't even tell you what the hell it was. I did have one tape that I found tucked away in a barn in the middle of Mississippi, and I know my dad can lie all he wants. This was my dad's tape, and it was AC/DC's Back in Black, and I played that motherfucker, and it was old as shit. Like, this thing had been stuck in this barn, hidden away for years because I found there was and this is how I know it was my dad. There was a copy of AC/DC's Back in Black, and then inside the bag, it was in a brown paper bag with a bottle of Jack Daniels. So I had found my father's stash, and he didn't know it.
He'd hang out and listen. Took me all that long.
Actually, mine was Heavy Decimals of Playing, that whatever that Noise Pollution. Right. That was the one I kept rewinding and going back to.
And it's crazy, man, because my kids, even now, play Thunderstruck. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, fucking right.
That's bad when you get heckled by your family.
Railroad train. You know what I mean?
You're in there trying to play, getting heckled by your family. Free bird.
Dude, I love that shit. That shit's timeless. I mean, but I think, man, like Follow You Home and All the Right Reasons. What was that song he wrote about she said, that's my dad outside the car. Oh, please.
Oh. I got it in my head. Animals.
Animals,
just like your animal. Yeah.
If that song don't amp you up, come on, man. Come on.
Well, I want to ask you about one more thing.
Right.
Recently, we did a whole special that was called An Evening with Joan Red, and we were doing it to try to help kind of promote, because we figured there would be more releases, so we wanted to, and there still might be. We wanted to help promote that on our show, and that was a lifelong. I've always wanted to do a documentary about that band, and people that I don't know how to explain it to people that weren't there. I feel like when it comes to Joan Red, you had to be there to get it. Now, you know what I mean? Like if you weren't there for the original run, because those fuckers would come to Tupelo, and you wouldn't cram in another human in that building, and the fire marshal is already probably been paid off, and and you wouldn't cram in another motherfucker in GTC when they would show up, or Main Street, or wherever the hell they were playing at. It was always some little place, but they would always pack out the place. So when they had the Memphis reunion, I had to go to that. I had to take off work, and in the middle of the week, it was on a fucking Wednesday or something, and drive down to Memphis, which is a 6-hour drive. And I found out I wasn't the only one. I found out real quick from talking to people, because now we're all old and we all got mortgages and shit. And I wasn't the only one that made that pilgrimage back home to see this show. And I had no clue who was singing what. Like, I had helped with the promotional and the radio shit, but I had no idea who was being assigned to which song. So when I heard you were on the list, in my head, I'm thinking, oh God, please be sorry it's over. and when you came out and you played that song, some of the guys, you could tell, didn't really know the words all that well. Like, I'm not going to call anybody out, but I have somebody's cheat sheet from that night in my collection, because they left it on the stage and I stole it after the show.
Right.
But some people didn't bother, but I could tell that you knew, you get it. Like you were there for the original run. What happened with that? How did they
co-wrote that
approach it? Okay, so you co-wrote that.
I co-wrote. Yeah, that the whole wah part and the guitar parts. I mean, I co-wrote that song. I produced that song, recorded that song. Like none of the wah pedal or none of that stuff was in there before I started working with them. And Sean hated the fucking wah part, but that kind of just made the song to me, right? And then on the recording, that's me doing the harmonies as well, because it was me and Joan Red, and then it was engineered by Scott Harden, who had a band. I can't remember the name of his band, but so yeah, it was kind of an easy song for me to come out and sing, because I had so much to do with it, you know.
Did you get a say in that, or did Roach just say, "This is what you're singing"?
Well, he's like, if you don't want to do it, he's like, that's fine. He's like, but you know, since you know you had this, and this to do with the song, the band would like for you to sing on it, right? You know, so, and then, dude, it was so cool being there, seeing all my people, you know, when I was, you know, you gotta think these people we've done so many shows with, you know, Gary from Pro Severe and the Saving Abel guys and fucking, you know, I thought Jared from Saving Abel sounded amazing that night.
He did.
And then my dude Shy from Savage After Midnight, who's been one of the main constant people in my life for probably 20 years now. You know, fuck, you want to talk about a guy who has developed his voice and found it. Man, that dude there, I'm so proud of him for putting the effort in that he has, and he's finally conquered that, and he just kills it now, you know. And but no, it was cool to go do that. I got to see so many old faces. It was wow, you know. People, I couldn't believe how many people were there on a Wednesday night.
I know, that was the first thing I thought.
Right, and my kids were there, and they had never. I mean, shit, they didn't even really know what I did for a living for all those years, and that was the first time they've actually ever seen me perform. And
wow.
Yeah, so it was a cool night, you know, to do that. And sorry it's over. I mean, did you ever hear my record Blueprints for Writhing? There's a song on there called Never Let You Go.
I've heard parts of it.
Well, that's Anthony the night before he died. he recorded those vocals the night before he died, and that's why I put that song on that record, because I mean that was the last thing he ever recorded.
Oh wow! So you guys were really tight then.
Oh God, yes. I saw Anthony every day, just about every day of my life for probably 10 years. We did 300 shows, 400 shows probably together.
Oh
I'll never
wow!
forget. We were in Greenwood, Mississippi, at a place called Joe's, and that was one of these places. Like I'm not a snobby guy or whatnot, but I got there and I looked at the venue and said, "Fuck this! I'm not playing here." Right? I'm not doing this. Fuck this. I mean, I might not be Nickelback, but I'm bigger than this, right? But then the doors open at 7, and at 7:10 it's fucking sold out, right? And Joan Red, I remember us and Joan Red had a tiff about how much they were going to get a night because they were opening the shows, and we came to this agreement, and it was only like $200, right? And I'll never forget, I told him, I was like, you're going to make way more money if you just let us pay you out of what we make instead of a guarantee. No, we need a guarantee. And I'll never forget, before we even went on, the Joe comes up to us, and the guy who owned the place, and he hands me all this cash, right? Because it was a complete sellout. And I'm on stage, and I tell the bartender, I said, bartender, I said, hold on a second. In one pocket, I had the cash that for us for One Less Reason, and the other one, I had another stack of cash that we would have given Joan Red.
Oh
and
yeah.
I said, and I held it up and said, this was going to go to Joan Red, but now Joan Red's buying everybody in this place a shot tonight. And I took their money and I bought everybody in the building a shot.
Oh, cold.
Anthony did not find that funny at first. I mean, he ended up coming around, but that night he didn't find it very funny.
Oh well, I mean, I guess not. And you realize you've made a really bad deal for yourself.
Yeah, once you realize you fucked yourself, I was like, bro, you demanded what you wanted, and it is what it is. But the next night we're in Macon, Georgia, and it was the same thing. It was fucking, I mean, assholes and elbows from the windows to the walls, right? And the fucking the club owners paid us, and that night again, I bought everybody in the bar a shot on Joan Red. That was a reoccurring theme. But, yeah,
that's funny, man. That is, I never knew that.
Anthony stole my bass player's girlfriend for a night to get back at us, and I thought it was hilarious. Yeah.
Oh man, that's the ultimate, like, getting something for revenge, I guess. Huh? I don't know, man.
I never forget the following night we were at, like, I don't even know, where, Augusta, Georgia, or something like that. And I remember she came into the building, and I was like, holy fuck, the prodigal son returns.
Oh man, that's funny. That's got some Motley Crue vibes there too.
Right. I go on to tell everybody that, what had happened.
At least you didn't record it and put it on a record.
That's true.
Do you have any of those shows like captured or stored anywhere? Or?
I don't even have a One Less Reason record.
Well, that's what I mean. Like any of your old live shows or anything, you don't have them stored anywhere or captured?
No, I lived it. I see them on YouTube, and I don't really remember anything about them. But
is it because you get in a different mind when you're performing versus when you're like, chilling at home and surfing the internet and shit? And
oh, absolutely. Like a lot of these shows, I don't even remember. I don't even remember doing them because it was just, I was caught up in the moment. Like if you like, there's like a drum cam video of us in Kansas City that my drummer Little Bucky, who plays for Fozzy now.
Like, that's wild. I just saw them like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, like there's like 40,000 people there. I don't remember anything about that show. I don't even remember doing it.
Oh wow! So if the crowd is really if the crowd is really, really big, does it make it easier to do your job versus really, really small?
I don't care. I'm there for a therapy session for myself. You know, and at the end of the day, man, I go into a zone, and there could be 5 people there. There could be 5 million people there.
Wouldn't care.
It doesn't change anything to me. I mean, because I'm there reliving these songs, where I was, what it felt like, what it means. You know.
So you said now that you've gotten older and you've got kids, you got a wife, and you just don't want to be away from them anymore. So you've cut out touring pretty much altogether. What are you doing in the side? Are you continuing to produce other bands or work with other people? Or
sometimes, I mean, I'm still writing music, but mainly I just hang out with my family because that's, you know, what I like to do, and it just is what it is, man. I mean, I like to hang out with my family, and luckily I don't have to go do anything else. I have the freedom to go to do nothing on the days that I don't want to do anything, and if I do want to go do shows, I'll go do shows.
Well, that's a good place to be. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's the end goal.
You know, Bob Dylan said success is when you wake up and you do what you want to do until it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Well, man,
That's what I do.
I'm gonna let you off here. We've been talking now for a lot longer than I thought we might. So, and it's getting pretty late here, but I do want to tell everybody that the latest EP is called Precursors Volume 1, and it's available right now at onelessreasonstore.com. That thing sold out, and then you guys ended up getting another shipment in. So, once again, like you put it out there, it's gone, and now it's back.
Yeah,
though. So I'd recommend getting your hands on it before it sells out again.
Yeah, that was actually, I really enjoyed making that record. I remember my wife about 3 weeks ago, we got in the car and I put the record on. She's like, "Are you ever going to release this?" I'm like, "It's fucking out. What do you mean?"
That's been out for about a year.
She has.
No.
Yeah, it's been out for a year. I thought it was like, it's been out for like a year. I did a CD release party like a year ago. Oh,
I thought that was just a normal party.
Well, yeah, I think. I recorded it at my house, so she heard the damn thing for 2 years in the making. So,
oh yeah, she's over it.
By the time it comes out, I'm so sick of these songs, and everybody who's around me is so sick of these songs that, you know.
Is there a
never
volume
hear them again?
2
It's fine.
in motion, or?
Yeah, for sure. I think my next one is going to be Chris Brown. I think the record's going to be called and All of a Sudden You Were Gone. And I think I'll put out. I got a few really, really good songs, but it's going to be a really sad record. It's going to be a really, really sad record.
Will it be available at One Less Reason store also when it comes out?
Yeah, and all the normal places, Spotify and Apple and all those places. But
do they not rip you off though when you post it on there?
Fuck yeah!
Do you not get like a few sales at least under your belt before you let them have all your money?
Man, some people will not buy a record anymore. They just don't care enough. Luckily, man, this last Precursors record we sold out, which was great. You know, I didn't expect it because I just figured everybody would go to Spotify and listen to it. But
except Spotify. Spotify's the good one. That's the one that pays us, so they're okay. They
okay.
We make literally all of our money from Spotify. So
yeah.
Spotify's okay.
And go, Spotify, right? But nonetheless, man. I mean, I am doing a Patreon thing soon. That I put out an audiobook called Everyday Life audiobook, and it just takes you through the whole. You know, it goes through each song and talks about the recording of it and where the song came from, and you know how it came about. And
you've done something similar. I wanted to ask you about, and I never got around to it. With your first album, you did that with your first album, right? Where you re-released it with stories like kind of like a
Yes.
storyteller.
Yeah, we did like a storyteller versions of it wasn't Everyday Life. It was Faces and Four Letter Words.
Okay.
But this is for Everyday Life, and it talks about the Rick Beato sessions and fucking our guitar player being a fucking nut job and all this shit and having to deal with him.
So you're going to do
So-
that for all of your albums then, to kind of like?
I think so.
That's a good
I really do.
idea.
It just
Not
kind of takes
just
you through it.
re-release.
It has each song in the background, and it talks about like say Worthless on the first record. It's got that drum fill that takes you into the chorus. Rick Beato changed that drum fill about 9,000 times to the point we were like, God damn, dude, fucking pick a drum. and he kept going. What would Soundgarden do? What would Soundgarden do? What would Matt from Soundgarden do? And dude, that drum fill's perfect. That drum fill is as musical as it gets. It's just as important as any lyric I put in the song.
That'll be an interesting release, because I did look for that other album, and I did try to get my hands on that beforehand. But it's kind of like you mix a podcast in a way with the pre-existing material. Have you ever put anything out on vinyl?
We did some of the Members Uninvited had some vinyl cuts, but they're all sold. I mean, they're all sold out. So some people out there have them.
So they're floating around. So I'll be looking for that.
Shit, I saw like an Everyday Life go for like fucking $125 on fucking eBay. One of the original ones.
Oh yeah.
I was like, son of a bitch. I'll call you and sing the motherfucker to you.
Hey, that's a Patreon perk.
Patreon perk, man. I will call you and sing your motherfucking song for $200 a song. Here it comes. I'll book my whole day, guys. So, yeah.
Well, I'm not going to keep you anymore. Hey, listen, man. Thank you for being here and doing this. This has been.
Hey.
I've done a lot of interviews lately, and I swear to God, this is the one that I've looked forward to the absolute most. And I had a really great time talking with you, and I really appreciate you coming on here and doing this with us. Do you have anything you want to say so we can bring this to a close? And I'll let you have the last word.
Hey, man. Sorry it took me so long to get. Yeah. It was like, dude, because you hit me up at like 6 and I was like out on the lake.
Oh, man, shit happens.
Not a care. Like, I wasn't thinking nothing about doing a podcast, right? And then I turned my phone on and I'm like, fuck, I can't believe I completely forgot about that whole thing. But yeah, man, this was fun, man. I enjoyed myself and I appreciate it.
I honestly, before you said something, I'd forgot about all of that anyway. So I appreciate you being here, man. But yeah, go ahead. Head over to onelessreasonstore.com. Check that out.
Back in it once again.
Back again in the house. Yeah. Bailey's with us. I want to tell you guys about the reason Cris wasn't in that interview is because not Chris Brown, Cris Caputo wasn't in that interview segment, is because Cris kind of forgot about it. He admits it in the interview. He thought, and it's kind of funny. I gotta admit, he was on the lake in a boat, and then they got swept up in a storm, and a lot of bad things happened. And while they were putting the boat away, he turned on his phone and saw my missed calls, and then he went, "Oh shit." So it was pretty late at night, but it was an honor getting to talk to him, man. I'm going to tell you, One Less Reason is one of my favorite bands, and the fact he was able, and he had nothing to promote. He came on and talked to. He did this show because he wanted to, and so that was really cool. I tried to find something to promote as part of the interview, but he really didn't have anything to promote. He just wanted to do the interview, and I thought the conversation, and I thought some parts of it were hilarious. And yeah, I'd love to do it again sometime. So thank you to Chris Brown. Go check out his band One Less Reason if you haven't already. we watch one of their videos on MVF one day or something.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, get down to that. Especially if you start with Favorite Color. That was the first song. That was I discovered by them.
Yeah, that's one of the
Beautiful
biggest songs. I even remember, I think, hearing that song at least once or twice. I remember then, like, the title, and it kind of brought up
And we
memories. I probably heard that once on radio somewhere.
Yeah, and we talk in the interview about how that was released and everything by Universal, and then they wanted out of their deal with him, or they gave him an out from the contract because he didn't want to wait a whole year, and so he had the faith in himself to take his. They gave him his masters. He took all of his music. He got to keep all the money. Got out of the record deal. Pissed his band off, but then promoted himself, promoted his band, and is a very wealthy man today because of that decision. So, that's success right there, man. That's a success story if I ever heard one. And yeah, that was really cool. So, thank you again to Chris Brown. We hope you guys enjoyed that. The sounds of summer are continuing, and hopefully we'll have another guest next week, but again, we're not going to announce that till it's in the can. So, yeah. Bailey, though, you're getting out there though. Talking about the sounds of summer, this guy's going to a shit ton of concerts too this year. What's all on your list?
As of right now, it's probably gonna be the last concert for maybe like a month. I think the next concert I'm seeing possibly is Disturbed and Breaking Benjamin.
Oh, that'll be fun.
And then in August, I'm seeing The Offspring.
I'm seeing The Offspring in August.
Nice. And then toward the end of the month, I'm possibly going to go out to SoCal to see Pantera and Lamb of God.
Okay.
Pantera. It's not really Pantera, but it's more like a tribute tour to Pantera. So,
is it one of those bands where there's no original members or something?
No, it's more on like, yeah, but it's not like the founding members, like, because they both passed away. So Dimebag and Vinnie Paul, but the singer and the bass player, and then they got like Zach Wilde and like Charlie Benante to fill in.
Okay, well that might be a good show then.
Yeah, and then I'm seeing Metallica a couple times, and then I'm seeing Guns in October. They're playing the baseball stadium here with Alice in Chains. So
you broke down and bought a GNR ticket too, huh?
Yeah, I did that months ago just for the hell of it. But I'm a little more excited considering, I like Alice in Chains, and the set list for the recent tour has been awesome.
Yeah, we've been noticing that. They've been really shaking it up a lot. Maybe all of our whining and bitching on the internet is it's just starting to pay off. Man, we'll get Wichita off of that maybe by the time that they start coming to.
Jesus, I don't know how that song's still on the set list, man. Like,
because of people like us over here that just love Wichita linemen.
I fucking hate that song. Don't throw me.
He told me on last week's show that this was his favorite Guns N' Roses song.
This is my least favorite. Actually, well, second least favorite. Everyone knows what my least favorite is. So, yeah.
If they're going to do country, man, like, do maybe like Johnny Cash, or like, hell, if you're going to go full out, why don't you cover like Garth Brooks?
Willie Nelson. Anything.
Willie would be nice.
Oh, no. Why stop there? Let's do some Neil McCoy. All she got to do is just give me that way. I'm slowing down, but I'm feeling all right.
I don't know if you were doing his voice or you were doing probably Axl's voice now, or maybe a combination of both.
Of whose voice?
Of either
Neil McCoy.
Neil McCoy, and then what Axl's voice sounds like now. Although to be fair, I think Axl's voice he's been a little bit better this tour from whatever I've heard.
Yeah, I'll give him that. As good as it's going to get, I'd say.
But then again, I think they're adding songs to the set list that are in his range, like Bad Obsession and Pretty Tied Up.
Yeah.
So that makes a difference.
Yeah. Finally getting that more over.
I can't believe that Bad Obsession hadn't been played that much. I don't know why it never occurred to me to to play that song. That's a good song. Have we covered that on here yet?
I don't recall. I don't think so.
You know what I did for you guys a little bit earlier? I went through the entire episodes list and recorded not every song you guys have done, but every like Guns N' Roses song. And you guys have not done that song yet.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we just checked our little Google Drive thing. There's nothing yet. Not on the list.
Caputo had to start a spreadsheet because we couldn't. And I hate doing spreadsheets.
Cover all this.
So we, which I'm glad he did, because it's nice to know when we're like, did I hate that song? What kind of mood was I in that day? Like,
also, I feel like our like an entire album. I think I know already over halfway done Moxie. Just really, I think we're like 60% done that album. We did a lot of Appetite, and not as much from the Illusions albums just yet.
Or Spaghetti Incident.
Yeah, not much from Spaghetti either.
You know, this year is going to be the both the 15th anniversary of Chinese democracy, but the 30th anniversary of Spaghetti Incident, and I believe they have the same birthday.
Oh well, I think they do, don't they?
Yeah,
they released the same day.
Should do something special for it.
When is it? That's in November, right?
November 22nd or 23rd, I believe. Like end of November.
Hang on, I've got a poster advertising the release of Chinese Democracy on my wall. 11/23.
Exclusively at Best Buy.
Instant platinum.
That was just a dumb idea. Anytime bands do that.
Yeah, that was stupid. I don't understand the reasoning behind that. Unless the record company wanted to fail because they thought, well, guys, we'll get this out of the system. It'll bomb and he'll bring Slash back.
Yeah. But I think that's what it was, too. Plus, it's like, oh, they already like $30 million on this. Let's at least make some sort of a profit for it. But flops.
Well, Geffen was barely a record company at that point, too. They weren't like they kind of merged with Interscope.
Yeah.
Universal, I believe.
Yeah, Universal owns it. I think Geffen is kind of still around, but not like it's under the Universal microscope.
Yeah.
So you think that's why we haven't got a new album yet?
No. Guns at this point in their career, I mean, freaking Metallica and like Motley Crue, they release records on their own. I don't think Guns, at least in the US, I don't think they need a record label to release a record.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also in a way, I was talking about this to somebody the other day. Albums are kind of out of date. Like in today's day and age, releasing an album, nobody buys the album. They cherry pick what they want, and most people stream it anyway off of Pandora or Spotify. But if they're gonna download it off of iTunes or something, I guess iTunes is still a thing. Then they're gonna
go with Apple Music.
Yeah, they're gonna cherry pick what they want off of that album. And which is kind of a shame because you miss out on a lot of good shit. I remember with iTunes, I was Foster the People is a band that I really enjoy. And I never would have give the rest of that album a chance. The iTunes, I was downloading Pumped Up Kicks. That's how long ago it's been since I had an iPhone. I was downloading Pumped Up Kicks. And the song was 99 cents. And the album in its entirety was on special for $1.99. So I said, okay, fuck it. I'll pay the extra $1 and I'll get all of the songs. And I found out, dude, Pumped Up Kicks was like the worst song on that whole record. And that was the one I liked. And that's what I came here for. So I think that album was called Torches. And I got down to that to this day. I hadn't downloaded any of their other albums, but Torches is one of my favorite records to throw on and listen to from start to finish. But Bailey started a new YouTube channel. You're going to be posting vlogs as you go on these concerts, and maybe like reviews or something, or are you going to show like your trip headed there and what happened
and stuff like that? I mean, the YouTube channel is not really new because I've had it for like the last 6 years. I'm just kind of repurposing it to specifically concert vlogs and just music related.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of started it right after I started appearing on the GNR Central podcast because I wanted to do something with YouTube. And for a couple years, I did like sports videos and stuff like that. But after like 4 years and just not much like viewership, I just didn't want to do it anymore. And then kind of in late 2022, I was like, I went to a lot of concerts this year and I have all this like footage I took. I want to put it out there and kind of, plus those are the type of videos I like rewatching anyway. Like even if it's my video I'm doing, there's a lot of replay value in it.
Yeah, I mean, vlogs are interesting, man. Like, depending on who does them. Like, like you remember Shay Carl, how he would always have him and his whole family like a reality show. Like that got old after a while, but some vlogs can be fun. I mean, me and Cris are going to tape a vlog pretty soon and include it. And we're kind of spilling the beans a little bit. It's going to be included in our season finale this year.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So spilling a few beans. Not going to tell you too much though. Just give you a little taste.
Just a little bit.
A little taste. Also, we're going to be recording a special episode very soon with our good friend Mason Frost. He's getting his own episode. He's going to be taking over Guns and Radio for a whole day to tell us everything that we got wrong. So he's pissed off that we hate Duff McKagan's solo work, and he's gonna come on and rip us a new asshole on a special episode, and get his say. And somebody's gonna stand up for Duff McKagan finally on our show. So
fans' revenge.
Yeah.
Jeff's a big Duff fan.
Oh, maybe Jeff and him will work together and tag team it.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know. I think the last episode I appeared on where we reviewed a Duff song was Misery. And that song sucked.
That was a misery to listen to.
Yeah, it was not good.
Oh man, what did we listen to?
And I love Duff, but I don't know, man. Just his music's kind of hit or miss to me, at least solo wise.
Yeah, I mean, at least we got a whole new character out of the last run of Duff songs the Wheel's been given.
Yeah.
With what do we call it? Dunce Cap Duff.
Cap Duff, yeah.
Dunce Cap Duff.
Multiverse Duff.
Yeah.
Multiverses of Duff.
He's from a multiverse where Duff McKagan is stupid.
But somehow still successful.
Yeah. That
the
happens.
Idiot savant of punk rock.
Dude, honestly, in real life, working in the field I work in, you see stupid ass people with a lot of money all the fucking time. And you're like, how in the fuck do you make more money than me? I just don't get it. I don't understand how that happens. Like, what am I doing wrong? Maybe I'm the idiot. I don't know. They say more idiotic people think they're really smart. I think I'm pretty smart, so I guess I'm flat out stupid then. So.
It's unfair. It's an unfair world, man.
I sure don't have any money. I can tell you that much. We're talking about if I get Rick Dunsford sued by Team Brazil, and they're going to clean out my fucking bank account. It won't take them long. It ain't going to take.
Maybe it should be like Rocky at the end of Rocky 5, where the guy's like, "Touch me or I'll sue," and he just punches them and is like, "Sue me for what?"
Yeah. Oh man, you could clean out my bank account and literally fit everything in your pocket on the way out the door. But I will warn you, your pockets will be jingling. So my money don't fold; it jingles. So, I'd probably be careful because you're not going to hide from the cops. They'll hear the change rattling in your pocket, and I'm going to need that 33 cents back there, sir.
Take all my fucking couch change, bro.
It's because I spend my money on stupid shit. Like this is Monday when this airs. Tomorrow I'll be heading to Riverport to see Matchbox 20. Kind of looking forward to that. I hadn't really thought about Matchbox in a while.
Is that at the Riot venue?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, all of every show I'm going to this year, except for Kiss and The Darkness, are happening at Riverport.
Right.
At the amphitheater. I'm going to Matchbox 20, and then the next one is, let's check the old schedule. I have an appointment booked for concerts now.
I just saw Blink-182, which was great.
I know, dude. I wanted to talk to you about that. Is Tom back now?
Yes, they're all back together.
Yeah. See, when I saw him, Tom wasn't there, so I called him Blink-182 thirds.
Or Blink-18.
Yeah, because I saw them. They did the whole 20th anniversary of Venom of the State. That's when Skibo was still there, and that was a really good show too. It was an outdoor venue here in Toronto, and I was literally like, when they did the acoustic part of the show, I guess before when they were setting up, Travis Barker's drum rig for his solo and shit. I was literally like in the row here, like 10 feet away, like over there. It was like Mark Hoppus singing down. I was like, oh, that's so fucking sick.
Yeah. Did Travis do the spinny thing?
He had like a levitating drum set at the show I saw him at.
Well, that was cool. What were you saying, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the one when they did in 2019 was he was doing the slow turn, flip around, whatever.
That was really cool.
It was like the big ball, I believe. I think it was that, and it would just go like around and shit.
The way I found out Tom wasn't in the band anymore was I was sitting there watching him at Riverport, and then it came up on the screen, and I went, "Wait, who the fuck's that guy?" That's how the news got broke to me. I had no clue that Tom had ever left the band, and then I go to find out he's like trying to be the next Alex Jones, and
he's looking for aliens.
Find aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, I swear it's like every time Blink gets back, like a tragic life event has to happen.
Yeah, I was just going to point that out.
What happened last time?
I don't know. It's ironic.
Well, so they broke up in sorry, Chris.
Yeah, so the first time they broke up was the mid 2000s or mid to late 2000s, because some bullshit happened. They went on the hiatus, and then I remember that was when Travis Barker got in the plane crash, and they did that whole reunion. That was another album, an EP, and then basically broke up again. I think it was mostly like Tom wanted out. It always somehow comes down to Tom for some reason.
Yeah.
I think a couple years ago, like during the pandemic, Mark Hoppus had cancer for a little while. He's beat that, and back together again. Oh, big world tour. We're gonna charge everyone up gas for it.
Yeah, I got those tickets when they went on sale. Thank God, just because the secondary markets was just ridiculous for those tickets.
I hope not.
Nuts, man.
I wish we could all just agree to never buy anything on the secondary market.
Yeah, don't ever.
If we could all just never buy, if we could get everybody to stand together on that, we could fix this problem. We could
don't buy on the secondary market on Ticketmaster. There's other places that can get them for better.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. I don't do that. Now, I did wait till $25 ticket day, and that's why I got Matchbox 20 tickets, because they were $25. And I got tickets to Foreigner next month for $25.
Nice.
And then August is where it hits, though. August is Leonard Skinner, ZZ Top, Ghost, Sum 41.
I'm seeing Sum 41 as well.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
With Offspring.
That's when I'm going to that. The Offspring. Who else is coming up in August? Guns N' Roses in September. A lot's going on in August. Caputo will be in America. Quiet Riot. That's the one I couldn't remember. But I'm not even they're not even coming to Riverport. They're coming to Jefferson City, of all places. They're coming here where I live. Yeah, they're going to be playing at the fair.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I like that though. Maybe they're falling enough. They'll be accessible. Maybe they'll be interested in doing our show. We should get them on.
Definitely, that'd be a big get.
That would be cool, wouldn't it? Get talk to Quiet Riot.
Oh yeah, yeah. We talked
Yeah.
to freaking Alex Grossi, who's an amazing guitarist.
Oh yeah,
I've seen him play with Hookers and Blow.
I've never seen Hookers and Blow. You've been to Hookers and Blow?
Yeah, I met Dizzy Reed there. Shout out Dizzy. It's his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday,
Ooh.
Dizzy!
Shout out.
If I'd known that, we'd have got dizzy with it today.
Damn.
Got dizzy with it.
No. Checked it out in the archives, by the way.
Yeah. Every episode.
2 seasons worth of getting dizzy with. Oh yeah.
The first season in video form has been, by the way, for those of you who haven't visited Getting Dizzy with it in a while, and you were like, what's up with this season 1 with all this crappy GN extra shit thrown in to stretch out and pad the time? I hear you. It's all gone now. As a matter of fact, the entire first season of Getting Dizzy with it in video form has been restored. And season 2, I don't think was ever documented in video form, so it remains in audio form. But yeah. All of the original video forms of season 1 of Getting Dizzy with it has been restored now, and it's in the same place it was the last time you got pissed off at us. So,
yeah, so it's all in the archive. Check out the playlist, gunsradio.com. It's in the link there.
That'd be the
link to
easiest
all
place.
Playlists of everything, rated by season, different shows, and all that stuff.
That's right. That's how we do on Guns and Radio. And also, while you're over there, hit up our Discord and come join our conversations. We've had some pretty good conversations lately in Discord, as a matter of fact. So
you get some good banter here and there. You know,
yeah,
witty.
Was the perhaps rehearsal a phony? I don't know.
I don't know. Did AI generate that?
Oh God.
Head over to our Discord and let us know what you thought. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You never really know. Well, Bailey, I hope your YouTube channel does well, man. I'll be watching and I'll be interested to see what all comes your way.
Yeah, we'll put that in the link in the description. Hit that sub.
Yeah.
Check
out I appreciate it. Yeah. I just came out with a Blink video. I'm doing a throwback Thursday where I'm taking my old some of my old concert footage and doing vlogs for that. Next week is going to be the debut of that. I saw Slipknot last year in Vegas, so that's going to be the first Throwback Thursday. And then I have another video completed, and it is Guns N' Roses related, but I'm debating about releasing it because of some of the past YouTube bullshit with Guns N' Roses. So I'm leaning toward releasing it, but I really hope none of that copyright shit happens. I mean, none of it's full performance. It's like, I don't know, like 12 minutes of footage too. So, and it's just fan footage. That's all it is to it. So,
well, what you do is you filter out the Guns N' Roses songs and replace it with like Sesame Street tunes.
Perfect.
And then put a reminder of who's to blame for this.
Yeah.
And
or you find like some 8-bit covers of it, you know.
Oh yeah. 8-bit. That's what we should do on this show. Only review 8-bit versions of songs.
Yeah, or I just borrow your guys' instead of guns like the Guns N' Roses music, I just use your guys' theme song, just put it over, just loop it into the video.
Okay, why not?
Listen, motherfucker.
Not to spoil that video, but I do have some footage of Absurd from that concert. So, that'll be fun. The greatest lyric of all time, man.
Yeah.
So,
who would have thought to put that in a song? Like, who thinks of this?
And the funny thing is, that song, like the previous song was Silkworms, which they performed in concert before, and that was in that version too.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the show that it became a meme.
I will say that comparing Silkworms to Absurd, I think Absurd, I like it better. Like, it has a better flow to it. It's not as weird.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Bizarre.
I do too. I kind of do miss that lyric in Silkworms. What was it like? What to do with like a bitch like you or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think we all liked it when we listened to it, and then it kind of just faded into distance. But it's not. I would have liked to see it on Chinese Democracy. I think it would have worked over like Scraped or I don't know, like Prostitute or Riad or whatever.
Oh, you're hurting me now. Oh.
No, not Prostitute. It definitely would have been better than like Riad and the Bedouins.
Riad, yeah. I agree with that.
Oh, this is going to be the big one. Y'all breaking my heart, boys. You're breaking my heart. I love Riad and the Bedouins.
I mean, it did get him a lawsuit, so I mean,
yeah.
Axl loves them lawsuits.
What was it? The rock band thing or
no? Because during the intro of Riad and the Bedouins, that like synth intro, or whatever, some other producer from like Finland, I think, sued them because like he ripped off one of my tracks or something, and they do sound very similar. Like if you actually compare them, like side by side, like the intro with like the synths and all the fucking bleep bloop noises and shit in there, they do sound very similar. I don't know. I think it got thrown out or something. They probably settled for some settlement or some shit.
Maybe for the 15th anniversary, I'll give that album a proper re-listen to kind of change my mind on it. I mean, I don't listen. I don't hate the record. I mean, it's not a bad record. I think it's just hard for me to see something with the Guns N' Roses name on it and Slash and Axl are not together. It's not even not having Duff or Izzy or Matt or whatever. It's just like, to me, Guns N' Roses at the bare minimum is Axl and Slash together. So
yeah. What if they took Chinese Democracy? They put Slash, Duff, Richard, and the band as it is now. They took them and they put them in the recording studio, and they re-recorded the instrumental for every song with them in it, and then just used Axl's vocal takes from back then and put it back together. Would you feel differently about it?
I mean, if that's what we're doing with this lineup, then I probably wouldn't prefer it because I want new music from this lineup. But I think it would be different because
I'd buy it.
Yeah, I mean, I buy it too. But like Slash versus Robin Fink or Buckethead or Bumblefoot. I mean, they're all completely different guitar players.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I think that's some of the things that makes Chinese Democracy interesting, but it's also some of the things that for most people makes it not work.
You're right.
And I realize I'm the oddball out when it comes to Talks of Chidem, so I enjoyed it. I didn't give it a chance for a very long time, but when I finally did, I was like, this is good. This is very good. Took me a long time, though, to give it a chance. But when I did, I enjoyed it. Some songs more than others, but that's any album.
Yeah, I mean, I think though also what kind of hurt the album was just the long wait and so many different hands on the record that I don't think it was ever going to live up to the hype that people were putting the hype on.
Well, I mean, 2/3 of the goddamn album leaked before it ever came out.
The entire album leaked 6 months before it was supposed to.
Oh yeah, that's right. It did.
Hey, at the same time, man, that's how business works in this band now. So
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Art school. What was that, guys?
I still think
if that
perhaps
storage shit didn't happen, we wouldn't have gotten 2 new songs. We would have gotten jack shit.
We wouldn't have gotten anything. I'd like to see them actually release. Perhaps I'm starting to think it's not going to happen. I'd also like to see them release State of Grace. Yeah. And if they want to do, go ahead.
Sorry. What about okay? So, do you guys agree is the General a real song or not? Because me and Jeff debate about this.
No, I'd say no.
I would say it was an old working title for some song that we probably the fans don't even know about, or maybe it's changed to something else totally different.
Well, wasn't Jackie Chan? Wasn't that originally, or didn't that end up being Hard School?
It was Jackie Chan, then Checkmate, and then it became Hard School. So Yeah, so that's what it is.
But Duff, he wrote, he was on Howard Stern in 1996, and he talked about that song.
Yeah, because I think that was one of the early songs. Because it was called Jackie Chan. It's supposed to be part of a Jackie Chan movie soundtrack or something like that. And I guess, yeah, he was still in there at the time, working on that. But then I guess as, people came and went, Axl just replaced people, left, right, and center or whatever, and said, oh, gotta get this person on the album, gotta get this guy on the album,
And maybe that's why a lot of that wasn't on Chinese Democracy. Maybe he would have had to pay Duff. And he was still pissed off at him.
That's also a good point. I mean, that is, yeah. Maybe because I guess Duff may have had like some slight writing credit to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. They made up later on in life. It's like they couldn't have just put that on like Try Them 2 if that was ever going to be a thing.
There was talks about it, but yeah.
They had enough to build a trilogy, but you only put the first one
out. What did they think they were going to do? Put like a triple album out like they did with Illusion? I don't buy that for a minute.
Nah, but if you like release one album, tour on it for like a year, 2 years, whatever, and then finish up what you have for the second album, release that, and then two-year tour cycle, whatever. And I guess maybe take your time with the third one. I don't know.
I mean, but Green Day did it. They released 3 shitty albums in one go.
Yeah, that was they released them like literally within the span of 1 year. Like we're talking, I was thinking like 3 albums in the span of like 6 years, which is actually quite reasonable, I think.
Yeah, they had 3 albums with like 2 good songs.
Yeah, those albums were good.
Yeah, I think the last record from them I liked was 21st Century Breakdown or even like American Idiot, going back that far. I think if Chinese Democracy got released in 2001, I think we probably would have gotten more albums from that lineup.
Oh yeah. By 2006 latest, it had to have been released. Because I think after then, people stopped giving a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was like the last straw, like 06. Because like, they're on that monster like tour run. Axl was like almost like at his peak at that point still. In his early to mid 40s. It was still sounding really good.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was the best time to release that.
06 Axl was top tier for me. When he, of course, I like it when Axl gets pissed off and yells at people. So I like that version of Axl. He don't do it as much anymore.
No.
I have seen him stop a show before and say something to somebody before. Like I've seen him get a little pissed off before, but he don't do it publicly anymore. You just see him like go step on the button and then start screaming into the microphone and shit. Like he don't do it publicly.
Nah.
Yeah. But I mean, I get it, dude. If I was in his position for a lot of that shit, I'd be pissed too. So it is what it is. Speaking of Guns N' Roses, our song of the day is from another former member of Guns N' Roses. We're going to be listening to Box by Izzy Stradlin. But before we do, we're going to watch a music video from another band that I don't think is together anymore.
Or not making, I don't know if they're going to be making any music. They're like a collective unit, these guys. They do their own separate things, maybe come together for one project and see where it goes from there.
I hope this plays.
Come on, video. Universe, work for us. I mean, we did reference this in the album artwork you're going to see for this week's episode. So.
It's my dick in a box. Ooh. Okay, Dick in a Box is not playing.
Oh,
well, while we're waiting.
Hang on.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, let me grab it. See, that's why you always get a backup.
Yeah. Did you guys see where Dolly Parton released 2 new songs this week? Are we talking
That's
about
news
that?
to me. Yeah, no, we haven't talked about that yet.
We'll talk about it after this. Let's.
Yeah.
I want to. Before we get to talking about a beautiful woman like Dolly, we need to remind these gentlemen the proper way to treat a lady.
Yeah, especially because it's halfway to Christmas, so you should know by now.
Oh yeah, the Christmas season is coming up. So
yeah. I mean, you got lots of time to get that present. Don't wait till the 24th, you lazy fuck.
Yeah. Look, fellas, anybody can get a woman. It's keeping a woman. that is where the magic is. And if you want to keep your woman, then you need to follow these simple steps.
Yeah, you'll see
going to be laid out.
Let's get right into it.
I wonder, you haven't thought about that in years, I bet.
Yeah, man. Oh, I miss the Lonely Island. Man.
Yeah, that was good SNL. You don't get good SNL anymore.
Yeah. They had those 2 albums. Even they had that whole movie too, which is really good. I think it was very underrated. Popstar.
Hot Rod
2 was Lonely Island joint. Yeah.
I could have done a Dick in the Box movie. I could have done a whole movie with these 2 characters.
You can make like a super paranormal thriller. What's in the box?
Oh yeah.
With Brad Pitt reprised role from Seven.
Yeah, you remember when that was a thing on Vine?
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody took that low hanging fruit. What's in the fucking box? It's my dick in a box.
Yeah, someone has got to make a TikTok of that, man. Come on, that'll go viral.
We'll use this segment for one of our shorts.
Hell yeah!
It's my dick in a box.
It's vibing.
Speaking of gifts, Bailey, we've been asking people to guess what they think the gift that I got and wrapped Caputo in my very expensive wrapping paper. Oh, here it is.
I see it.
Free.
I don't know. Some type of frame or a calendar.
Oh, it's a You're thinking a calendar? Okay,
Ooh.
Like a nude calendar.
I don't know, man. I mean, maybe.
The dudes of 2022. Because it's going to be out of date.
Jefferson City Fire Department calendar.
You got it at like the discount dollar store.
No, I bought it at a yard sale.
Oh.
For 50 cents. I had to pay them $1 because they didn't have any change. And I told Cris this from the get-go, that this gift was cheap and it was crappy. But you know what? He might love it. But I couldn't bring myself to fancily wrap such a shitty, cheap gift. So Bailey's going with calendar.
Yeah.
All right. We'll find out. And how many months? 2?
Literally, about just under 2 months.
Yeah, about 2 months. You guys will find out in the season finale of the Guns and Radio podcast. This is our new season art. When I'm not zapping all over time and space.
Yeah.
I still don't know what's going on there. Who that guy is that looks like me that appears from time to time.
Yeah, it's been a very weird occurrence. If you notice it, you notice it.
Yeah.
If you don't, get a better fucking look at it.
If you don't, you're probably listening on Pandora.
Sucks to suck. But you're still listening to us, so thank you.
Hey, no. Don't get us twisted. We thank you for listening on Pandora.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now that we know we don't have to put so much work into the visuals of this, we're going to bring back the old days when we were using crappy storyboards and stuff to make our games on. Remember that first time we played The Price is Right and I had those shitty poster boards?
Yeah.
And the tape was tearing all the prices off every time we'd pull one back to reveal, and the tape would tear the price with it. So you just had to take my word for it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something else we're doing right now. We're currently in the middle of live streaming to YouTube all of our old episodes that were not in video form. And the reason we're live streaming them is because most of these are in M4A form in our archives. The older stuff is mostly in M4A form. So I would have to take that M4A, upload it to a converter, download it again. These are like an hour long. Move it into an editor, add all the visuals that you're going to see because it's YouTube. And then the visuals wouldn't be as good. And then let it render for another hour. So now we're about an hour and let's just be safe and say about an hour and a half into the process. Then I got to let it upload to YouTube, and that's going to take another 10 or maybe 30 minutes. So about 2 hours. Or I can just let it stream in real time on our live, and boom, it's up on YouTube with all the visuals and none of that extra work. And so if you're on our YouTube channel, folks, check out our lives. Go ahead and do some comments because we're going to be continuing to stream. As by the time you guys hear this recording, Season 1, Volume 1 is complete. So and you can go listen to the first 29 episodes of Guns and Radio from our first 6 months. And a lot of shit happened in those 6 months. We met Jeff for the first time. We met Brando for the first time. Chris Lathrop from Pot of Thunder came on and gave us his blessing for ripping off his show, which we've said from day one is what Guns and Radio is. It's a ripoff of Pot of Thunder. Well, now it's a spinoff. Ever since that episode, it's been a spinoff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And me and Rick talked to each other on air for the first time in 7 years, and right before the world went into lockdown. So, and you get to relive. As I was listening to them play, as I read my books and things, the storage locker saga was ongoing at that time. So
it just got started as we were starting the podcast. I remember.
Yeah, it did, and so we're updating. Like, what's happening now? I'd forgot that there was a guy called the chairman. But at the same time, it's like, God damn, how far we've come on this show.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like I've got a lot of things I could improve, like saying, all the fucking time. Maybe saying fucking every other fucking word.
Yeah. Whatever.
Maybe say fucking all the time. I feel like there's a few things we could still improve. But at the same time, when you listen to those shows and our shitty microphones and the quality, I did kind of tweak that a little bit for the YouTube version the best I could. So hopefully some of it sounds a little bit better. But yeah, we've come a long way since the days of Spreaker.
Good old days. Show. Yeah, that was like the first 35 episodes we did it there. And then after it switched over to here.
Yeah, it took you a while to convince me to pull it off of Spreaker. I've been using Spreaker for over a decade, and glad we made the switch now because we can spend our money more wisely. We had to pay for that. We had to pay like $20 a month for that.
Yeah, it wasn't even like it was only a set amount of storage. I remember. And,
that's
why we always advertise Anchor because we loved it ever since we started using it like 3.5, almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's easy to get a good testimonial out of us because we've loved. Every bit of it.
Oh yeah, it's loved us every which way back.
Oh so. Yeah, dude. Spotify's been good to us since we came on board. So, thanks, you guys. Guys rock. Spotify is the best place, even though most of you are listening on Pandora. I know.
Or other places,
Apple Music.
Apple Music.
Apple Podcasts, yeah, we got
some podcasts. Sorry, yeah.
Are we still on Apple? Because I haven't checked that in a while.
We're still on Apple, yeah. They still consider like a pretty decent percentage of the pie.
Oh, okay. Oh well, then Apple's okay by me then.
Yeah, man.
As long as they don't fuck with us and start trying to take us off the air. Anyway, Box Bay is a straddling. Gonna take a light, drag me away.
I was gonna say, it sounds like the intro to Freedom 90.
I feel like smoking a joint right now, man.
Don't tempt me. I smoke out of this because it's classier. It's still got a hippie, man.
I like it.
Dizzy Reed.
Yeah, this is from his acoustic album. I remember we did a couple songs off this before. They're pretty good.
Let's crank it up for just a little bit. In a van by the river.
Sounds like what if Izzy Stradlin did Sublime?
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Loving is what I got.
I feel like it's more appropriate to switch to our Sounds of Summer background right now.
Oh yeah, this is perfect.
There you go. I don't know what it is about this song, but it's reminding me of his cover of Stuck in the Middle with You.
Oh, it kind of does, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
Maybe just because the acoustics.
I think it's probably more for the acoustic vibe.
Isn't well? No, that was a YouTube video, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he's playing on acoustic guitar.
Yeah, that's probably it then.
This is more like studio acoustic guitar stuff. So like that was just him playing on a video on whatever. The audio wasn't that great, but it was like he was in a studio with an acoustic guitar to record the damn thing.
Is he at least? I mean, for all of his flaws in his music and stuff, at least he does it. He puts it out. He don't fuck with it. He records it. He gets it done. He throws it the fuck out, and it's done. It's good. It's good enough.
Yeah, he's dropped like a shit ton of albums. Well, Axl with Guns only dropped one. And Slash got at least 3 or 4. So
yeah, and then Izzy was like, "Wait a minute, why am I working this fucking hard? Nobody else is." So
he's like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
Yeah, hell, Izzy's become more reclusive than Axl was from '94 to 2001.
That's true.
I wonder if he's been in jail. No, he couldn't have been.
Is he still around? I think there was like pictures or like something. He was in California. Like, was it the end of last year or the end of 2021?
I'm surprised somebody saw him. There's been an Izzy sighting.
It's like Bigfoot.
Yeah. Oh wait, I think I do remember that. Now that you mention it, I think I might remember something.
So it was like the end of 2021 or the end of 2022. It was like right before Christmas, right after Christmas. I saw someone. It was on our Twitter or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Now that you mention that, I think I do remember seeing something like that.
Yeah, that's some like boardwalk shop or something there. We're like, oh, this is Stradley. Oh my god.
Do you have lyrics for this? Do you want to read some?
I do, yes. Hang on, let me pull up the tab here. He lives in a box down by the ocean, down off the main road by the hill. Takes what he finds and eats it right there. Makes what he can with what he will. He don't ride the bus. They don't let him drive. There he walks for miles a day because he ain't got no ride.
Oh, so it's about a homeless guy.
Pretty much. Maybe it's about himself.
It might be. Like, Izzy's like a voluntary vagabond.
Yeah, he's just like a world traveler, but like only travels with like backpack.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. That's why we can't ever find him.
Just
Nobody
hostile
knows.
crashing.
Yeah.
And all that. Throughout Europe.
Oh man, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
I doubt it, but I wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me to find out that that's how he spends it. And nobody's looking for him because most people think that Richard Fortus is Izzy. So
I mean, Google thinks so too. So
I mean, yeah, Appetite's selling what, like a lot still.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that shit still sells. Even the greatest hits album is still selling.
Oh yeah,
Shitty album.
He's getting his royalties.
Damn straight.
Yeah, he's definitely getting his royalties. It sounds like coffee shop music.
A little bit better, actually.
I feel like I should be ordering a cappuccino right now.
No, if this was coffee shop music, it'd be like Nora Jones. Or like Sarah McLachlan.
We're gonna do a montage of sad looking homeless people now and give you a phone number to call.
I was gonna mention that too.
$1 a day keeps him fed.
$1 a day. If you send us $1 a day, these people they'll still be homeless, but we'll make the bad photos go away.
You'll never have to see this again.
Yeah. Never see this ad again. late at night on Cartoon Network when they know you're too stoned to get up and change the channel. That's my only gripe about those is, man, I'll be sitting there watching Robot Chicken, and then a sad puppy commercial comes on, just ruins my whole night, and here I am.
Damn, I'm trying to watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Fuck off.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Are we really the audience to be showing this ad to?
I just want to watch the good times of Family Guy, man. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forget Family Guy is still a thing.
Yeah, somehow. Honestly, just if you're gonna watch Family Guy, don't watch past like the 12th season. After that, it's just shit.
How long can that one joke stay funny though?
I don't know, man. It's like Seth MacFarlane isn't even right for anymore. He just shows up and does the voices, and that's it. Like, there's no soul in that show anymore.
Explains it then.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting a little fade out here. I'm gonna fade it up as it fades out. I can't believe that worked. I faded it up as it faded out, and it actually worked.
Awesome.
Wow. See, I can
That's
be
good
a
shit,
real
pal.
radio guy.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for believing in me, Roach.
Thanks for giving us all these interviews, dude.
Yeah, you're a good man. We love you. Maybe I'm trying to get Roach to come on the show. I think he's got some good stories. I don't know if he'd be willing to tell them all.
Get sort of like the artist managerial sort of perspective side of things. Yeah. It'd be pretty cool to do.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Do you have any? Is there any other lyrics in that last verse that we kind of looked over, or is it just the same? Because it sounded the same.
Yeah, the other only one was, he lives in a box down by the ocean, down by the seaside at the hill. Palm trees, it ain't the beauty, look good though, even though he looks pretty ill. And just repeats that a couple more times. Very simple lyrics, but you get the point.
Yeah, we got it. All right, well, here's the time of the show where we get to rate the songs. Bailey, you're our guest today. We're going to start with you. What do you think about Box by Izzy Stradlin?
Very mellow song. Felt like playing a little bit of the bongos at the beginning of the song. But for a mellow song, it's not bad. I think Cris is right. It's got kind of that coffee shop feel. And I was just thinking about it now. I don't know what it is, but it feels like Izzy does mellow a lot better than like Duff does mellow, at least in my opinion. But I'd say 3.5 out of 5.
All right. Oh, I cut him off. There we go.
There you
go. Yeah.
Sometimes I fuck up these controls. Cris, do you want to go next or you want me to go next?
I'll go next.
All right.
I'm kind of a sucker for these acoustic sort of songs. I like hearing things plugged. I'm a big fan of the whole MTV Unplugged kind of concept. I do like acoustic stuff, and it's like the third song we've covered from this Izzy Stradlin acoustic album, and I'm really liking the direction goes with this stuff. So yeah, you don't have to have like very overly complex lyrics. Like within like the first verse, we kind of knew already. Oh, okay, so here's what's this song about, and then it gives you a good vibe to the song. Like there's nothing really bad. I can't really say about this song. I'm gonna go 3.5 out of 5. This is something I would throw on jam to. It's like a chill out, cool down kind of song, So I'm good with it. 3.5 out of 5. I like this one.
All right. I usually don't rate these kind of mellow songs very high. I've said before, they're not my cup of tea. However, I did kind of enjoy this one. I feel like I could have this playing in the background while I'm grilling on the barbecue. Got some friends over at night. We got the tiki torches out and shit. It's a very good song to have come up for the summertime. So, I guess, its timing may have even melted my cold heart towards some of these songs, because I'm in the exact same boat. I'm going 3 out of 5. That's
noise. Yeah, I would say it's definitely like dad rock barbecue music, but in a good way.
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad at all. rather
I know, like
enjoyed
your
it.
dad playing yacht rock or something. So
I've been listening to the yacht rock station on Sirius XM a lot lately.
you and me both, man. I was like, my dad's like ripping on. He's like, "Oh, you listen to yacht rock?" I'm like, "Yeah," because the 70s and 80s had some really fucking shit, man.
Yeah. Did you check out that Counting Crows concert on Friday that they played from the Troubadour?
Oh, was it on yacht rock or was it on 90s on 9?
Channel 30 something. I don't remember. I was stumbling around.
Was it Lithium?
It was probably one of those.
Lithium.
Oh,
I think
Lithium.
it was on Lithium.
Okay. Yeah, because I saw you mentioned it in the Facebook post. I didn't get around to checking it out though. Maybe it's on demand. I'll listen to
It is. It's on demand. I'll listen to it again.
Right.
It was actually really good. I
Yeah,
quite
man,
enjoyed that.
I only know from the Shrek soundtrack. So
yeah. And with Guns N' Roses and the Troubadour show being what it was, it kind of had my attention there too. So, but let's see. Shall we spin the wheel to see what's going to get our undivided attention next week on the Guns N' Radio podcast?
I say it's time to spin that wheel. Hit that button. Let's do it.
Fuck yeah.
/.
Thank you, Robo Ice T. I know sometimes, if you notice, sometimes he's like RoboCop and sometimes he's not. That's because we mix these back up when we generate new ones. Because we don't want to know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
When the new season
starts,
and our whole aesthetic changes, the wheel's going to be the same for a little while.
Yeah. For a little bit, just for a few weeks, maybe we'll see. But yeah, back to the Slash and Friends solo album, which we haven't covered in a while.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't done anything from that in a really long time.
Yeah, this one's featuring your mom's favorite, Adam Levine.
Oh God!
Speaking of dad rock and mom rock and shit, Adam Levine.
No, this is soccer mom fucking MILF music.
Oh my God! Adam Levine took his shirt off at the bar.
Oh yeah, well, when did he ever put a fucking shirt on, lady?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know why Slash collab with Adam Levine of all people.
Well, he collabed with.
I'm not my worst enemy to listen to that shit because that's the shit they should play in Guantanamo to torture those terrorists.
Whoa.
Well, he collabed with Kid Rock, too. That just proves to me Slash was not in the studio with these people. There's no way a man with as much money as Slash is going to sit there and smell Kid Rock's armpits for however long it took to record that song.
I think that was before Kid Rock tried to take some certain slurs back. So
yeah. I don't know,
even before
Fergie kicks more ass than both of those guys.
That Fergie track is bomb. By the way, in our archives right now, somewhere, Beautiful Dangerous. I think that was season 1, wasn't it?
1 or 2. One of the first 2 seasons.
Way back. You got to dig for it. You got to work for it. But if you can find it, go check that out too. And Bailey, thanks for coming on, man. I really do hope your vlogs do well on YouTube and everything, man. And hope everybody that's listening will go give you a follow and join us in solidarity. Wishing you good luck.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me back on. Can't wait to be back on. Oh, you forgot to do something, Dustin, before we span the wheel. Forgot to say tap the screen.
Oh,
yeah. I had something for you too. If you were gonna tell me that, it was gonna be this.
I forgot about tap the screen. Oh, that's a good one. Oh man, with all these guests we got coming on for the Sounds of Summer, maybe I can get one of them to tap the screen.
Rick was the best one when you got him.
He couldn't figure out it was a joke. What happened?
Yeah. We got the king of troublemaking.
I know, right?
So,
oh man, great. You can't fuck with him too much. Sometimes he gets mad, so it's like I'm glad he took it like that. Didn't try to. I'm sure he's gotten me. He's gotten me way more than I've gotten him. This fucker will make fake numbers to send people dick pics with. So you'll be be randomly one, and all of a sudden there's a dick pic on your phone from a number you don't recognize. Yeah. The last time I used it to set up a fake Grindr account and included the phone number. That's my go-to. Like when my mom gets dick pics and makes me delete them, I go to, like, it's usually on Facebook of all places. And so I'll go pull some of their nicest looking pictures off of Facebook and set up a Grindr account and hope their wife sees it. Because she ain't gonna believe it. I probably caused more divorces. One day, all these divorced men, they're all going to get together and be like, "Wait a minute, and who did you send the dick to?" Before your wife suddenly mysteriously found a Grindr account.
It's gonna take an episode of X-Files.
Oh, well, that's going to do it for Guns N' Radio, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you Saturday on Shotcast Saturday.